Hello and welcome to AmakhosiTalks. If it is your first time visiting here, please do subscribe and turn on your post notification bell so that you never miss any future uploads on the channel. Well, Khosi Nation, on today's episode, we've got a few things to cover. First, we will review the previous match we played over the weekend against Golden Arrows. Again, we will talk about the availability of Samir Nurkovic and the possibility of him playing this week. We will also do a preview of our next game in the DSTV Premiership, where we will take on Swallows FC. And finally, along with the predicted lineup, we will see the return of score prediction on today's video. Well, Khosi Nation, if you are enjoying the content on the channel, don't forget to give this video a like to show your love and support. Without wasting any more time, let's get to today's business. Now, starting off today's video, we do have to talk about the game we played over the weekend. Now, in that game, the coach made some very bold changes in the formation. Not that we did not anticipate some form of changes coming into the match, but it was surprising to see us playing with 5 at the back. But I must say, looking at the run of results we've had in the recent games, I think it's understandable that the coach chose to give the team more cover at the back, with the hope that those wing backs could give us support both in attack and defense. Overall, looking at the match and how we applied ourselves to the system, I don't think it quite worked out like the way the coach had intended. In some instances of the match, we lacked balance in how we applied ourselves and going forward and transitioning back to defense. I felt as though our wing backs Philani Zulu and Muleko did not do justice in both areas. Granted, whenever Zulu went up to join the attack, he had some neat touches to try and create combinations with Billiard and Ngobo. But immediately we lost possession, we saw how much work Cardoso had to do in order to cover that open space. And the same also goes to the right side. Cardoso and Ngezane really worked hard to manage the openings that were being caused by the wingbacks. And at times, we were lucky not to concede to those situations. But having said that, I thought we created enough chances to see us score a couple of goals more than the ones we actually scored on the day. The Arrows keeper did all his best to keep us from scoring more goals against him. But for us, it comes back to the same problem we've had since the start of the season. We still can't convert all the chances that we create. Take nothing away from the coach and the players, especially Leonardo Castro, for breaking a brace and securing a point on the road for us. It was a much improved performance on the day, but I feel as though there were too many mixed feelings about that performance. And now, moving on to one of the biggest questions that many are asking, and that is, are we going to see Samir Nurkovic feature this week? Of course, you will remember that it's now just exactly 2 weeks after that report from the medical team came out. And judging by what was said in that report, Nurkovic by now should be in full training with the rest of the team. However, I don't think we should see him play any part in the Swallows game. I think this game just comes too early for him and his fitness. Even when looking at the game which we will play on the weekend against PWD Bameda in the CAF Champions League, I don't think he will even be ready by that time. Perhaps in the CAF Champions League, we may see him get a few minutes, but ideally, for someone who has had a lengthy spell on the sidelines, the coach has to tread carefully with him. We have to avoid a situation where we rush him back into the team and he suffers a relapse of any sort. Which is why my answer to the question is no, it's still too early to rush Nurkovic back into the team. And now guys, finally moving to our next match. It is in the DSTV Premiership and we take on the newcomers Swallows FC. You will remember that initially this game was scheduled to be played this coming weekend, but due to our involvement in the CAF Champions League, it has now been moved a little closer, and that is just the hardship we find ourselves in. By no means do we have the squad depth and fitness to play all these congested fixtures in our calendar. But it is what it is. We have to soldier on and make the best out of what we have. Now, Khosi Nation, do not be fooled by our opponents being newcomers, because they are one of the teams that are on form in the league. In the log standing, they find themselves in second spot, just 2 points behind the log leaders and defending champions Sundowns. Now, there are no two ways about this match. If you want to come away with anything, we have to put in the hard work. I certainly don't think they will be the kind of opponents where we expect to see a comfortable win. They have a good mix of youngsters and experience in their team, and on top of that, they are very energetic and quick on the ball. In terms of how we are going to respond to that, I don't think the 3-5-2 system we used against Arrows will do us any good. We never seemed comfortable defending at the back, and against opponents who will make use of those spaces left open at the back, we have to set up differently, which is why I think we should go with a 4-3-1-2 formation. I think this formation will give us more stability and control in midfield. Having packed the midfield, it will allow our fullbacks to operate up and down in those flanks. Now, coming into the starting lineup, I think we should retain Mphahlele as our centre back with Cardoso, and Zulu along with Moleko should also retain their spot to complete the back five with Kune as our captain. Going into midfield, I think that is where things get interesting. In this match, I think Akumu Agai should get a start ahead of Katsande in that holding midfield role. Now, this role will be very crucial in the system, as it will allow the fullbacks to push forward with Agai just dropping back to create cover for the two centre backs. Jabulo Blom and Lebohang Manyama should be our ball players in that midfield three. And just in front of them, Kosimpile Ngcobo should link our midfield and attackers. I think he has the touches and skill needed to break into the last third of our opponents. Up front, Kamapiliat and Castro again should lead our attack. I think they play much better whenever they play closer to each other. And that completes my ideal lineup against Swallows. And now, finally getting to the score prediction. Now, I know we haven't kept a clean sheet in a while now, but I think to boost our confidence going into the CAF Champions League, a 2-0 win in our favor should be enough to seal all 3 points, and it will help us climb up the log table. As always, Khosi fans, do leave down your lineup and score prediction in the comment section, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Also, share it with your friends, colleagues, family, and let's all come together and be one Khosi Nation.